What's up? It's your boy Steve83 and I'm back with another react. You know what I'm saying? Today we're reacting to foolio's passing out in court. They got their sentence. They're falling out. They're acting silly. They don't know what's going on. These people crazy.
Yeah, they said he was suicidal, and he started talking about he want to bring a Bible with him or some shit.
Yeah, you heard that right.
No, he had a Bible with him and a dog. Let's get into it, man. These people, I seen it. The video's right here. He climbed out the door with a dog and a Bible.
Bruh. Leo's killers are losing it, and it just got real. One of them collapsed in court after getting hit with a heavy sentence, and the rest, let's just say they didn't keep it together either. But here's the real question. Was it just the life sentence that broke them? Word on the street is they're scared. Scared that Foolio's people are waiting for them on the inside, ready to handle business. I got all the details. Let's get into it.
Did he really have people on the inside like that, though? Or did he have more people in there wanting his head top?
Courtroom chaos, from fearless to finished. It was supposed to be just another sentencing, but what happened inside that Florida courtroom on a humid June morning left even the bailiff stunned. The room fell into a chilling silence as one of Foolio's killers collapsed, body going limp, crashing to the courtroom floor right after hearing the words, "life without parole."
Woo! That's a heavy one. That right there is a heavy one. Any grown man would choke that down. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to fall out in the courtroom. I'm not going to cry over it. You know, I'm not going to do none of that. But what I am going to do is swallow real hard and look at my lawyer like, what the?
Defendant sobbed. Another co-defendant stared blankly at the wall, as if realizing for the first time that he would never breathe outside air again. And the
Ladies and gentlemen,
part, the one accused of pulling the trigger, tried to fire his lawyer and represent himself in a death penalty case. You read that right.
I mean, that's his stupidity, but he's just trying to prolong it. We all know that. We've been that. Man, we were doing that in 2003.
A man facing capital punishment thought he'd be his own best defense in a courtroom designed to bury him alive. But before we show you the collapse, the literal breakdown of a killer, you need to understand what they did and why it has sent shockwaves through the Florida legal system.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man.
Born Charles Jones wasn't just any rapper. He was one of Jacksonville's most controversial and feared voices, but he was also someone's son. And on June 22nd, he was in Tampa just trying to celebrate his birthday.
Yes, he was.
By the early hours of June 23rd, he was dead, gunned down outside a hotel in a targeted ambush, executed by 3 men who allegedly followed his every move on social media and GPS tracking. At least.
And my stance on it, the way I look at it is, no one ever should be taken out like this. That the only way people should be able to pass on the other side is by the hand of God. That's just my beliefs. We're not going to get into all that today. That's just my opinion. Leave yours in the comments.
31 bullets riddled his vehicle.
31 holes in his car.
Police later revealed surveillance footage of the moment it all went down. 3 shooters creep across the parking lot, rifles in hand, aimed and ready. They didn't hesitate. Foolio was seated in the front passenger seat when they opened fire. He didn't even have a chance to run.
And my question is, the driver, right? He's in a heli. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's got the SCAT on there or if he's got the, you know what I mean, the SRT model or what. But I know when bullets get to raining down on me, I'm not going to drive straight full. I'm not. I'm bending that joint. Like, I got to do a U-turn. If I'm Foolio, I might even have jumped out and ran in the door. I don't know. But driving straight to him, that's crazy work. But you don't know what you're going to do in that circumstances. Like shock and fear and not the excitement, but the shock of it all happening is enough to make you just do stuff you normally wouldn't do. So I'm not saying the driver had any faults or anything like that. I'm just saying how I feel like I would have been.
You can see the shooters are getting in position for their plan.
Just for educational and entertainment purposes only. Just trying to spread the word of violence. You know, I'm just trying to spread the word on what's going on in our streets. I'm not making nothing off of this.
And you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee. And again, they're still shooting at him. He's the right front passenger in that vehicle.
Sorry for him. He took it bad right there.
They were thorough. They had watched Foolio. They knew where he was going. One was reportedly his ex's friend. Another, a young woman named Alicia Andrews, who at the time was pregnant, allegedly followed Foolio from club to club that night, texting updates to her crew like a spotter in a military op. These weren't seasoned criminals. Most of them were barely out of high.
And I'm thinking, like, nobody even noticed that. Like, I know Foolio was drunk. They got him off his body. He ain't really been a drinker. He don't even drink. That's what he said on the little clip. I don't know. I ain't buying. But I feel like somebody should have noticed her following him. Like, if she's not on our inner circle, she's just my ex's friend. I don't even know why she at the party for real.
High school.
4 guys, 1 girl. The girl's pregnant currently,
Yeah.
which makes it even crazier. One of the guys, when they were arresting him, I guess he had a gun to his head. Did you hear this whole story?
Yeah, they said he was suicidal, and he started talking about he want to bring a Bible with him or something.
Nah, he crawled
This
out
group,
with it.
ranging from age
crawled out
18
with
to
it.
30, allegedly committed one of the most high-profile rap killings in recent memory. Their trial is unfolding as we speak. Some of them are facing the death penalty, and the state isn't playing around. The state announced that it is considering the death penalty
I ain't gonna hold you. I'd almost want it. Shit, I'd be fighting for it.
in this
Shit.
case.
These are all signs that things are gonna go very bad for them. Like, you got a girl in it, she's pregnant, he's suicidal, wants a Bible. It's not going good
Not going good for who?
for the killers.
Now here's where things get even darker. One of the primary defendants, Rashad Murphy,
That's
fired
him.
his lawyer. He submitted a request to represent himself in a first-degree murder case that could end in lethal injection. The court warned him. His lawyer warned him. But Murphy persisted. Rashad Murphy submitted a request for a speedy trial, and in a crazy twist, also asked to get rid of his lawyer. This same man also
Why? If you know you facing a L or maybe even a D, why are you asking for a speedy trial? What? What are you doing?
filed handwritten letters to the judge, complaining that he was being treated as if he's already guilty. He claimed he wasn't allowed to make phone calls, write letters, or prepare for his own defense. He
Welcome to jail.
begged for access to legal documents. Some think it was a ploy. Others believe
Well,
it was
they're
a
not
man
supposed to hold
already
legal
cracking under the
documents.
weight of what he'd done.
Especially
One
if
of the
he's,
reasons Murphy may be
representing
spiraling,
himself.
the
He should have
evidence
been able to
against
see
him
all
is
the evidence.
overwhelming.
Well, it's not like they're going to get off for this.
No, they're f***ed. They got so
off.
much evidence against them. Like, when you go through it, you can pretty much just, all right, pick a prison. Where do y'all want to go? It's just not, you can't even come up with a defense for them.
Investigators obtained ring camera footage of the
That's
suspects
Gath,
loading
right?
rifles into duffel bags. GPS data from their phones tracing every stop Foolio made. Text messages between suspects discussing the
I
murder
wanna
in
see him
advance,
pass out,
and
man,
bullet
don't y'all?
casings from the murder scene that matched weapons found in the suspects' homes.
They found bullets. They found bullets in that kid's house. They found one of the murder weapons. They found bullets matching from the shooting scene. This kid kept collectibles from the
They even found hardware from when Foolio got rained on in Houston back a couple years ago.
case. Like,
Do your homework
mad
on that.
inside of his house.
As
Why you
prosecutors
keeping that?
revealed all
He's
this
like
in
a
court,
serial.
One of the defendants,
You know what I'm
seated just
talking about.
feet from Foolio's grieving mother, collapsed. No camera was allowed to capture it directly, but courtroom witnesses say he fell out of his chair trembling, muttering, "I can't breathe." Whether it was fear, guilt, or the sudden realization of spending the rest of his life in a concrete box, no one knows. But what's clear is the walls are closing in. Let's pause here for a second. This isn't just about gang retaliation or rap beef gone wrong. This is about how the internet turned violence into virality, where dissing dead rivals is just another way to rack up streams, where mourning mothers scroll through YouTube only to find songs mocking their children's deaths.
Yeah, but the only page going up is his Foolio's.
Foolio did it to others, and eventually others did it to him. This toxic culture has now cost 6
Him.
people their futures. 1 is dead. 5 may never get out of prison. One of them is expecting a child who may grow
Wow.
up visiting mom through glass. But the
I
evidence-
want to know who the baby daddy is. What I want to know. They need to know him. Like, I want to know who he is. Get this boy
This
up.
trail is even more damning than anyone imagined, and one defendant may have accidentally exposed everyone, all because he wanted social media clout. So how did we get here? According to prosecutors,
That's gotta be Gath,
Foolio's
right?
murder was not a spur-of-the-moment decision. It was a meticulously planned hit involving coordinated surveillance,
His hand
multiple
going up and down,
vehicles,
up and down.
out-of-town
He
travel,
came.
and high-powered rifles. And it started at home, long before they reached Tampa. Footage showed the suspects, Rashad Murphy, Davian Murphy, and Sean Gathright, packing bags big enough to conceal rifles in a residential neighborhood. That bag was later confirmed to contain at least 2 assault-style weapons. Where was this caught? Their own surveillance camera.
We have
Their
evidence
own camera.
of the defendant's co-defendants very clearly meeting at Sean Gathwright's house on his video camera where they are loading up big bags that are definitely big enough to hold these assault rifles that were used in this case.
One of the most disturbing parts,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Foolio's final hours were basically
we got
live
him.
streamed by Foolio himself. As he shared clips of his birthday celebration on Instagram, investigators say Alicia Andrews and Isaiah Chance,
Rest in
lookouts
peace,
pretending to
Foley.
be friends, were tracking his every move, from the club to the after party, and finally to the hotel where he was killed.
Jones was in town celebrating his birthday
Man, I
in
wanna hear from
Covalent
this
Hill.
dude.
Way. They waited across the street. They watched. At 4:38 a.m., 3 of them crept out of their vehicle and walked toward the Home 2 suites. Armed with a handgun and 2 rifles, they sprayed Foolio's SUV with 31 rounds. 3 other people in the vehicle were also hit, but miraculously survived.
This barrage of gunfire.
Why? What could drive 5 young people, one
Get
of
him
them
off
pregnant,
here.
to plan and commit an execution-style killing?
Man,
on a
they
public
didn't
street?
like him
According
at
to
all.
Prosecutors and police, the motive was
Get that
classic
boy
street
off there.
vengeance. One of the shooters allegedly had a brother, Spaz, who had been killed by someone.
Oh,
I don't think
snap.
he had nothing to do with the murder though.
No, I mean, it's actually pretty ugly what happened because one of the suspects, their brother, Spaz, was allegedly
Oh.
killed by one of Foolio's friends.
Man.
Yeah.
Foolio rapped about him, and I believe there's
So
a video
Kenny
of him
Katz.
urinating on his grave.
There's multiple videos of Foolio dissing this guy.
Not only did Foolio rap about it, but he mocked it in videos, including scenes showing someone urinating on Spaz's grave. That's not
That ain't
art.
Foolio.
That's a declaration of war. So these 5 set out for Tampa. They didn't bring a diss track. They brought guns, bullets, burner phones, and a plan. But here's the twist. They weren't smart enough to hide the evidence. In fact, they practically gift wrapped it for the cops. Let's go down the list. Alicia Andrews' phone was tracked from Jacksonville to Tampa, matching every location.
Listen, man. I think everybody in the families from all around need to have all their family members sit down and tell these boys and ladies, you don't take your phone. Come on, who takes their phone nowadays?
Foolio went to that night. License plate readers captured the
That's
cars
her.
used in the ambush. Surveillance from inside the hotel caught the suspects in the moments before and after the shooting. Forensic analysis of spent shell casings matched rifles recovered from Rashad Murphy's house. One of the suspects even kept souvenirs, bullet fragments, shell casing
Wow,
in his
this
home. Text
dummy.
messages showed a celebratory attitude after the murder, including
This
one
dummy.
that read, "I'm coming home. My thirst is finally quenched."
They're caught on license plate cameras. He used his mama's car. His mama said, I had that car, then my son had it.
That's how cocky they were. Rashad Murphy, in particular, believed he could outsmart the system. He left his phone at home, but used everyone else's. And then he made the boldest move of all, asking to represent himself in court. Even his attorney told the judge this was madness. But Murphy pushed forward, claiming jail conditions were denying him a fair chance to prepare. Then he pulled out another card, the insanity defense. Back in November, he said he was going for an insanity defense. But here's the legal catch. You can't claim insanity if the evidence shows you meticulously planned a murder. That's literally the opposite of being insane.
I think this guy's nuts. I think that's why. I mean, he wants to defend himself, which is insane in a death penalty case. And then he actually has said that he may use an insanity defense, which also is insane in itself.
telling
when
that
the
to?
facts show otherwise, that these guys had meticulous planning and attempts to cover up crime. And when you have that, good luck in getting an insanity defense, because to sustain an insanity defense, you have to have an established medical condition and you have to not know the difference
That's what he's
between
going here.
right and wrong. But when you meticulously plan and then try to cover up your tracks, that shows
You know
knew
what
the
you're doing.
difference between right and wrong. It shows you knew what you did was illegal. And when you want to just try to put forward an insanity defense as your own lawyer, it doubles the level of difficulty.
So Murphy's defense might already be dead on arrival. And if he insists on
Yo,
acting as
hey.
his own lawyer, he could implicate his co-defendants in open court.
Now listen, here's what I'm thinking. This is all pure speculation. Now this Foolio is probably sitting in his passenger seat of his car, waiting on somebody to order the room, and he's probably drunk. He don't drink. He claims he didn't drink. He probably in the car, probably got his head on the dash, like, man. Or he's scrolling through the phone. He probably like, it could be a number of things. He's scrolling through his phone like on some like horny stuff or something, scrolling, looking at girls or whatever. Or he could be on the dash just like, oh my God, I can't believe I drank that stuff, man. This is why I don't drink. Or he could have been already in the back, like already passed out, sleep. And then he might not never seen nothing. All he might, last thing he seen was that flash of light.
That's why people close to the
I
other
don't even
suspects are
know.
panicking. especially Alicia Andrews. She's the only one who didn't waive her right to a speedy trial. Legal analysts believe she may be cooperating with prosecutors, and it would make sense. She's pregnant, she's young. She may want to see her child grow up. If she flips, the dominoes could fall fast. But the story isn't over yet.
They don't need nobody to flip, though. They don't need nobody to flip all this evidence. They don't need a snitch. They don't need none of that.
Inside their jailhouse meltdown, when prosecutors laid their cards on the table, it became clear someone talked. And early whispers in the courtroom pointed to just one name, Alicia Andrews. Andrews, just 21 and pregnant at the time of the murder, was facing the exact same first-degree murder charges as the men accused of pulling the trigger.
As well as she should.
She demanded a speedy trial, a move many legal experts interpreted as a warning shot or a signal of cooperation.
And then they just recently did it where the girl isn't waiving her right to a speedy trial, and they believe she's gonna cooperate.
Right. Actually, one of my members, Kilcon RL, mentioned that. He said Alicia Andrews, who's the girl who's pregnant, she asked for a speedy trial, but the other three waived.
Right.
Waived that. So yeah, I guess that means she's cooperating now.
But what sealed it wasn't just the court documents.
That's
it was
an
what
old
came
school
next.
play.
Andrews gave a full interview to police right after her arrest. She admitted to being there. She confirmed their movements across Tampa. And while she stopped short of saying who fired the shots, she gave up more than enough detail to place her crew exactly where prosecutors needed them.
Alicia, the girl, she gave an interview with police right when she got picked up. So she's already spoke to them and confirmed, oh yeah, we were here.
Investigators then used her phone's GPS history to track the group's path, from club to club, B&B to hotel. She may not have pulled the trigger, but Andrews played the role of modern-day recon, helping the killers trail their target digitally and physically, like something straight out of a military operation, but far more senseless. And prosecutors aren't just stopping.
I don't know how homeboy didn't catch the top of himself. He was right in that.
The use of prior gang-related killings as admissible evidence, specifically to show motive.
I do find, generally speaking, that this is evidence that does help create motive and intent and explain the crimes charged.
The reasoning? Julio Foolio's murder was not an isolated event. It was the climax of a long-running feud between Jacksonville's most dangerous rap factions, 6 Block, ATK, and 1200. And these...
That's going to do it for us today, guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace!